everybody, I'm Joy Paul, I'm an indie author, and today I'm going to be starting a new series that might be a tad controversial, but is something that I want to talk about. And the first topic I want to cover is the red button topic of editing. Now, as an indie author, I go through several steps before publication, as most indie authors do, but I have noticed things in the community as a whole, and I wanted to talk about them here. There seems to be two camps of people when it comes to editing. There are the camp that believe that editing should only be done by a professional and that it's a necessary step of the process and that you need to get it done whether you want to or not, however you can, and that's what counts. There's also the second camp of people who believe that it's okay to self-edit as long as you have a good grasp of grammar, a good grasp of punctuation and all of that stuff, and you can pick up any spelling errors. And if you do it this way, it's okay because you know what you're doing and you're critical of your work, so you're able to do a developmental edit at the same time. And the thing with this camp is that they're wrong, obviously, but also they don't really realise that the whole self-editing thing isn't just about grammar and spelling mistakes. When it comes to an edit, you are looking for not just the basics, as in grammar, spelling mistakes and stuff like that. You're looking at the story in pieces and as a whole. You want to be able to tell the best story that you can, and in doing that you need to have somebody with fresh eyes who doesn't know the story come in and look at it and go, okay, this bit works but this bit doesn't. It's part of why we need beta readers, and it's part of why critique partners are a good idea, because they can help you along the way and make you produce a clean first draft. When it comes to editing itself, it needs to be someone who's professional at this, because they know what to look for. They know what works and what doesn't, and they're also readers themselves, but they're also looking at it from a technical standpoint. Now, there are many different types of editor, but what I'm talking about now is more the developmental editor, because they're the one that goes in, digs into the plot and works out what works and what doesn't. And once you've gone through the stages of beta reading and critique partners and all of that, what you really need at this stage is someone who knows what they're doing. And while self-editing has its place as in earlier parts of the process, it shouldn't be the big part of the whole big edit process. That shouldn't be where you say, okay, well, everybody else has looked at this, so now it's my turn to go through and check it over. That's not how it works, because you as the author know the story back to front. You know it well enough to know and miss the points that you should be picking up on. It's not just a case of spelling errors, it's not just a case of grammar, it's a case of finding out whether or not this plot point works, and you as the author are too close to it. You can't look at it objectively because you know the story and you know the backstory and you know hopefully why you chose to do it that way, and in doing that way then you can't look at it objectively and say, now does this work or not. Now, there is some place for self-editing, and by this I mean generally while you're going through drafts or while you're going through betas and stuff like that, then that is a good place to do your own edits, but it shouldn't be the only type of editor you use. I know editors are expensive, I know that they cost a lot, but there's a reason for that, and it's a necessary part of the publishing process. When you read your own work, you read it thinking or missing the bits that are missing, because you know the whole story. Like I said, you know what made you write where, what and when. What you don't know is what a reader's going to think, because you're not looking at it as a reader, you're looking at it as the author. So as far as editing goes, it's not optional. Basically, you need to get an editor in there and you need to pay someone to look at your work. So those are my reasons for why editing is not optional. Basically, you can't be objective looking at it, and it's something that you need to have done by an outsider, and that means hiring a professional. Another part of the hot topic subject is what makes up an editor. Can it just be somebody you know, or does it have to be someone who has the qualifications to back it up? Now, personally, I don't see the point in hiring someone you know who doesn't have the qualifications to back it up to go through your work, because while they may be able to read things on a beta level, they're not going to be able to read things on an editor level, and there are differences in the two. They might be not as easy to see, but they are there. So I feel like you need to hire someone who actually has the qualifications, who does the job as an editor, who isn't just so-and-so's friend, and is actually someone you know, who you've seen their work, they've seen your work, and they can work with you as a professional. As I said, I know they're not cheap, I know that they cost lots, and it's sometimes easy to sit there and say, you should hire an editor, when you don't have the money, but it's something that you're aware is coming, it's something that you should be ready for. You know, when you write a book, you know that it's, well, hopefully, you know that it's not a case of just writing the first drafts, slapping a cover on it, and putting it up on KDP and calling yourself published. I mean, while technically that is published, why would you want to put your first draft out there? No one sees my first draft because it's terrible. So there's more to writing than just writing the first draft. And what you want to be doing is thinking, well, I know that at some point I'm going to need to hire a professional cover art designer, which I'll talk about in another video, and I have to hire an editor, so I'm going to start putting stuff aside for that. And I get that it's a cost. I have a massive cost myself, and it's something, I'm not rich, I struggle with, but it's needed. It's a necessary cost. You need it to work, and you know it's coming, so you can save up for it. And while that's easy to say, it's something that you need to do. It's a necessary part of the publishing process. And yes, this only really applies if you're going the self-publishing route, because obviously traditionally published, you don't pay for an editor and you don't pay for a publisher, and if you do, there's a problem. But overall, I just wanted to say that as far as I stand, or from where I stand, you got to have that step. You can't just skip over it because you decide that your book is perfect and therefore does not need editing, and you can't skip over it thinking that beta readers and CPs are enough, because they're not. They're looking at it through a different lens. An editor, a developmental editor, line editor, copy editor, whichever one you choose to go with, is going to be looking at it for a different reason, and you need that. You need that, and you can't do without it, because otherwise your book will suffer. And yeah, who wants to put out a book that's not the best it can be? So that's all I have time for today. If you want to get in touch with me, you can comment or subscribe. I post new videos on Thursdays, and sometimes I post them on Sundays too. You can find me all over social media, and my books are available everywhere. All the links for which are listed below. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep writing. Bye.